Yes, hello students. How many of you are online? Very good evening to all of you. कितने लोग online हैं? Yes, student, just tell me how many of you are online? Yes, just tell me, beta, how many of you are online? Yes, fastly. कितने लोग online हैं अभी? बताइए. Yes. Yes, how many of you are online, beta? Just tell me. Okay. Now today we are going to start with the live doubt session of geomatics engineering, in which we are going to see the nature of error in chaining. Okay, आज हम लोग देखने जा रहे हैं कि कितने टाइप के एरर्स होते हैं और क्या क्या उनमें कैलकुलेशन करना पड़ता है कि हम उनकी वैल्यूज को फाइंड कर पाए. एक एक करके हम पूरा देखेंगे. ठीक है, कितने लोग ऑनलाइन हैं बेटा? जल्दी से हेलो कर दो जरा एक बार. यस, गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर ऑनलाइन? यस, फास्टली. ज्ञाना सुगंध्री, वेरी गुड इवनिंग बेटा. वेरी गुड इवनिंग. हाउ आर यू बेटा? गौरव भट्ट. हाँ गौरव, सब बढ़िया. तुम कैसे हो बेटा? ओके. हाँ, और कितने लोग ऑनलाइन है बेटा? वेरी गुड ज्ञाना सुगंध्री बेटा, वेरी गुड. ओके. यस राज, हेलो बेटा. हाउ आर यू राज? चलिए, तो आज हम लोग समझने जा रहे हैं. टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू सी द नेचर ऑफ एरर इन चेनिंग. ओके, वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट विद द नेचर ऑफ एरर इन चेनिंग, इन विच वी आर गोइंग टू सी व्हेन द length of tape is increased, then what will be the value of error and what will be the value of correction. Okay, we are going to start with the types of errors as well as the nature of error, that is whether it is positive or negative or whether the correction is positive or negative. Okay. Now just listen to me. Suppose that we have 2 points here. Okay, we have 2 points here and the distance between these 2 points will be equals to 30 meters. Suppose that the distance between these 2 points is 30 meters. That is the actual length. Okay, that is the actual length between these 2 points is 30 meter. Okay. Now suppose that we had purchased a tape from the market on which it is written as that 30 meter is written. Now how much length did this tape will measure? Just tell me. What is the maximum capacity of this tape to measure any length? Just tell me. कितना मेजर कर सकता है मैक्सिमम से मैक्सिमम, ये बताइए. बोलिए बताइए कितना मैक्सिमम से मैक्सिमम मेजर कर सकता है बेटा ये? हाउ मच दिस टेप विल मेजर? Just tell me, if the 30 meter is written on the tape, then what is the maximum limit of length which is measured from this tape? Just tell me. Yes, just tell me beta. Fastly. What will be the maximum value of length which can be measured with the help of this tape? Yes, Raj, correct. It will be 30 meter. Okay. Now suppose that due to manufacturing defect in this tape, okay, the readings is written very closely. Okay, now due to manufacturing defect, the reading is written very closely, just like this. Now if the readings are written very closely, then suppose that this is the 30 meter length, that is the total 30 meter length. Now when the reading is written very close to each other, then here 0 meter is written and somewhat here 30 meter will be written. Is it or not? Just tell me. Because the reading is written very closely, that's why the overall length of the tape will reduce. But at the first point 0 meter is written and at the last point 30 meter is written. Is it or not? Okay, Raj. Now suppose that if we stretch this tape along the point AB, अगर हम इस टेप को AB के along बिछाते हैं तो यहां से नापा तो 30 मीटर यहां कहीं खत्म हो जाएगा क्या बताइए टेप का? If we stretch the tape in between A and B, now tape is short, so tape will start from 0 meter and it will end here at 30 meter because the length of tape is short as compared to the original length. Is it or not? Just tell me. Yes, just tell me. Okay. Now, if it will measure up to this point, that is 30 meter, now this distance needs to be measured. Okay. Now this is the remaining length which is need to be measured again. Now we will measure with the help of this tape also this distance, and suppose that this distance comes out as 2 meter. So what will be the total length of AB according to this tape? It will be equals to 32 meter. Is it or not? Just tell me. If we are using a small tape or a shrunk tape, then it will measure from this point to this point, it is 30 meter because the length of the tape is short. Now this distance needs to be measured, so we had measured this distance also with this help of this tape. Now suppose that this distance comes out as 2 meter, so total distance between A and B will be equals to 32 meter, that is the measured length. Now if we want to compute the error in this tape, if you want to compare the error in this tape, then it will be the difference of measured length and actual length. Now error will be equals to what? It will be equals to 32, that is the measured length, and 30, that is the actual length. So a difference comes out as plus 2 meter. Now value needs to be changed as per the question, but the sign of error when the tape is short, okay, when the tape becomes shorter than the original length, then always the error will be positive. And if the error will be positive, then the correction will always be of the opposite sign of the error, but the magnitude will remain same, that is negative 2 meter. So when the length of tape becomes shorter than the original length of the tape, then error will be positive and correction will be negative. Is it clear to all of you? Just tell me. Yes, is it clear to all of you? Yes, firstly. Yes, Raj. Jnana Sugandhi, is it clear to all of you, beta? Just tell me. Yes, Jnana Sugandhi, Raj, is I am audible to all of you? Just tell me. Is I am audible to all of you or not? Yes, fastly. Yes, beta, fastly. Is I am audible to all of you or not? How many of you are online, beta? Just tell me how many of you are online. Fastly. Okay, Jnana Sugandhi. Hello, Abhishek, sir. Hello, Jnana Sugandhi. Now, is it clear to you? Okay. Now, if it is clear to you, then we are going to see the next case when the length of tape becomes more than the actual length. Okay. Now, suppose that here 30 meter is written, but due to manufacturing defect of the tape, the readings are written far apart from each other. Now, if the readings are written far apart from each other, then suppose that this is the total length 30 meter, that is the actual length. Now the length of tape will becomes more or less. Just tell me. If the readings are written far apart from each other, then the length of tape is more or less. Just tell me. Yes. If the readings are written far apart, then the length of tape will be more than 30 meter or less than 30 meter. Yes, just tell me फास्टली. अगर हम लोग रीडिंग्स को बहुत दूर दूर लिख देते हैं, तो अगर रीडिंग्स दूर दूर लिखी हुई हैं, तो क्या आपका टेप का ओवरऑल लेंथ 30 मीटर से ज्यादा हो जाएगा क्या? बताइए, बोलिए, बताइए. बोलो, इज इट और नॉट? जस्ट टेल मी. ओके. अब अगर लेंथ बड़ी हो जाएगी टेप की, तो क्या करेंगे? यस ज्ञाना सुगंधी, करेक्ट. अब अगर लेंथ की टेप की लेंथ बड़ी हो गई, इफ द लेंथ ऑफ द टेप विल इंक्रीज, देन वी विल स्ट्राइक द टेप in between A and B. Now suppose that we had strike the tape from A, and suppose that somewhere here 30 meter will comes. Now if 30 meter will come here, then somewhat here 28 meter will be written in the tape. Okay. Now if 28 meter is written here, that is the measured length when the length of tape becomes more than the actual length. Now what will be the value of error here? It will be equals to 28, that is the measured length, minus 30 meter, that is the actual length. Now the difference between these two value will be equals to minus 2 meter. So when the length of tapes becomes more than the actual length, then error will be of negative nature and correction will be of positive nature. Is it clear to all of you? Yes. Okay. Now if the length of tape becomes more, then error will be negative and correction will be positive. And if the length of tapes is less than the actual length, then error will be positive and correction will be negative. Now that is the basic concept which we are derived from this portion. Is it clear to all of you? Just tell me. Yes, Gyana Sugandhi, is it clear, beta? Fastly. Yes. Done. Okay. Now we had written here that the error shows the two types of nature, that is positive and negative. If the designated length of the tape is shorter than the original length, that is the first case which we had studied, then the measured length will always be greater than the actual value and error will be positive, which we had seen from here. Okay. Now, if the designated length of the tape is more than the original length, then error will be negative and correction will be positive, which is shown here. Now, two types of corrections are possible, that is additive and subtractive, which we had seen. The nature of error always remains opposite to the nature of correction, which we had seen here. If the error is positive, then the correction will be negative, and if the error is negative, then the correction will be positive. And the magnitude of error and correction remains same for one measurement. It means that the magnitude of error which is derived from the concept will be same in the correction also, only sign will change, only sign will change. Clear? Okay, Jnana Sugandri. Now we are going to see the first case of correction, that is correction due to pull or tension. Okay. Now, how many of you had studied the strength of material? Just tell me. How many of you had studied strength of material? Just tell me. Okay, Gana Sugandri. Yes, just tell me. How many of you had studied strength of material? Just tell me fastly. Yes, fastly. Now, if you had studied strength of material in your colleges, okay, then you had studied this case also. Suppose that if there is a bar, suppose that if there is a bar on which a force P is acting, that is the pull, and suppose that the length of the bar is L, area of cross section is A, and Young's modulus of elasticity is E. Now, what will be the change in length here? Just tell me, what will be the change in length here due to this pull? Just tell me, what will be the change in length here? यहाँ पे क्या चेंज इन लेंथ आएगा अगर एक पी का पुल काम कर रहा है बॉडी पे, उसकी लेंथ एल है, क्रॉस सेक्शन एरिया ए है और यंग्स मॉडुलस ऑफ इलास्टिसिटी ई है, कितना एक्सटेंशन आएगा यहाँ पे बताइए? यस, बताइए बेटा कितना आएगा? बताइए. बोलिए कितने का एक्सटेंशन आएगा? यस ज्ञान सुगंधी, कितने का एक्सटेंशन आएगा बेटा? यस ज्ञान सुगंधी, व्हाट विल बी द वैल्यू ऑफ एक्सटेंशन हियर इफ द बार इज सब्जेक्टेड टू अ पुल P having length L, having area of cross section A and Young's modulus of elasticity E. Now what will be the change in length here? Just tell me, what will be the extension here, the value of extension? Just tell me. Yes, just tell me. Fastly, what will be the change in length here? Yes, fastly. It will be equals to PL upon A, which we had studied. Now suppose that if this will be our case of tape or chain, Suppose that if this will be our case of chain or tape, then suppose that we had manufactured our tape in the factory for a particular standard pull of P naught. Okay, yes, correct, Gana Sugandri. For a particular standard pull of P naught, it means that if the, I will give an example. Suppose that if the tape is designed to resist a pull of 25 kilonewton, till 25 kilonewton pull, there will be no extension in the length of tape. But when we apply a pull of 26 kilonewton, then there will be the elongation of the tape due to the 1 kilonewton extra pull. It means that the change in length of the tape will occur due to the extra pull which we had applied to the tape. Okay, that's why the correction due to pull in case of tape will be equals to the pull at the time of measurement minus the pull at which the tape is standardized into length of tape upon area of cross section of tape into Young's modulus of elasticity of tape. Is it clear to all of you? Just tell me. Is it clear to all of you or not? Just tell me. Yes, fastly. Okay, Gyana Sugandri. Now, suppose that this is the case of tape elongation. This is the case of tape elongation. It means that the length of tape is increasing. Okay. It means that the length of tape is longer than the actual length of tape. So what will be the sign of correction? We had studied today only that if the length of tape is increasing, then what will be the sign of the correction? We had already studied it. Just tell me, what will be the sign of correction if the length of tape is increasing? Just tell me. Just tell me. If the length of tape is increasing, then what will be the sign of that correction? Yes, Kyana Sugandri. What will be the sign of correction here? Yes, I had written here, if the length of tape is increasing, then the sign of correction is positive. So, in this case also, due to extra pull, the length of tape is increasing. That's why the nature of correction will be positive. Is it clear to you or not? Just tell me, is it clear to all of you or not? Okay, Gyana Sugandri. Now, in this way, we can calculate the correction due to pull. Moving on to the next case, that is correction due to temperature change. Correction due to temperature change. Now, suppose that we have a bar here. We had studied this concept in the SOM. We have a bar here which is having a length of L. Okay, and this bar or this material will have a coefficient of thermal expansion alpha. Now, when we heat this body to a particular temperature, there will be a change in length in this body. Is it or not? And the magnitude of this extension will be equals to what? It will be equals to L alpha T. Okay, that will be the change in length of this body due to increase in temperature. Now, suppose that if this will be a case of, suppose that if this will be a case of tape. Okay, now suppose that this is the Saurabh Pathak, no assumption beta, no assumptions. Based on practicality, we are just deriving that formulas. Okay, we are not considering any assumption, whether the material is homogeneous or not, whether the isotropic is not, or anything else. We are not discussing all that type of assumptions. Okay, we are just considering the practical considerations here, and based on that practical considerations, we are deriving the formulas here. Okay. Now in the similar way, if we have a tape here whose coefficient of thermal expansion is alpha, whose length is L. Now suppose that if this tape is designed for a particular temperature of T naught, suppose that if in the company, if the tape is manufactured to resist a change in temperature up to 25 degrees Celsius, it means that up to 25 degrees Celsius there will be no change in length takes place in the tape. But when the temperature increases above 25 degrees Celsius, suppose that if the temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, then there will be a change in length of the tape due to 2 degrees Celsius difference of temperature. That's why we kept here the formula as L alpha T minus T naught, where T naught is the temperature for which the tape is designed, that is the standard temperature, and T is the temperature during the measurement. Now suppose that during measurement, if the temperature is 27 degrees Celsius and the tape was standardized at a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, so there will be the change in length in the tape due to 2 degrees Celsius only. Is it clear to all of you? And here also the length of tape is increasing. That's why the correction is of positive nature only. Now, how many of you get the clear idea about how to calculate the correction due to temperature change or correction due to pull? Just tell me. Yes, fastly, fastly. Done? Yes. Just tell me. Is it clear to all of you or not? Okay, Raj. Okay. What about the others? What about the others? Just tell me. Yes. Is it clear to you, all of you? Just tell me. Is it clear to all of you or not? Now, after this, we have three more corrections remaining. Okay. Or we can just precisely say that there will be the correction due to slope, due to wrong alignment, due to mean sea level. So that is the three more correction which is remaining in this topic. So we will discuss that type of correction in our next class on next Wednesday. We will finish the today's class here up to correction due to temperature change. Now in next class we will discuss that formulas also, as well as we will solve some question related to these topics. Okay. Till then, goodbye everyone. Good night. Shubhratri. Yes, good night everyone. Okay, Raj, good night. Good night, Jnana Sugandri.